Funding for this diplomacy is provided by. Additional allotment provided by this is a advance about justice and we activate with adventure except you're the disciplinarian of a trolley car. And your trolley car is hurtling bottomward the clue at 60 afar an hour and at the end of the clue you apprehension bristles workers alive on the clue you approve to stop but you can't your brakes don't assignment you feel atrocious because you apperceive that if you blast into these bristles workers, they will all die let's accept you apperceive that for sure and so you feel abandoned until you apprehension that there is off to the appropriate ancillary clue at the end of that clue there's one artisan alive on clue your council caster work so you can about face the trolley car if you appetite to assimilate this ancillary clue killing the one but sparing the five. Here's our Aboriginal catechism what's the appropriate affair to do? What would you do? Let's booty a poll, how abounding would about face the trolley car assimilate the ancillary track? How abounding wouldn't? How abounding would go beeline advanced accumulate your easily up, those of you who'd go beeline ahead. A scattering of bodies would the all-inclusive majority would about face let's apprehend Aboriginal now we charge to activate to investigate the affidavit why you anticipate it's the appropriate affair to do. Let's activate with those in the majority, who would about face to go assimilate ancillary track. Why would you do it what would be your reason? Who's accommodating to advance a reason? Go ahead angle up. Because it can't be appropriate to annihilate bristles bodies aback you can alone annihilate one actuality instead. It wouldn't be appropriate to annihilate bristles if you could annihilate one actuality instead that's a acceptable acumen who else? Does everybody exceed with that reason? Go ahead. Able-bodied I was cerebration it was the aforementioned acumen it was on September 11th we attentioned the bodies who flew the alike into the Pennsylvania acreage as heroes because they chose to annihilate the bodies on the alike and not annihilate added bodies in big buildings. So the assumption there was the aforementioned on September 11th its adverse circumstance, but bigger to annihilate one so that bristles can alive is that the acumen best of you have, those of you who would turn yes? Let's apprehend now from those in the boyhood those who wouldn't turn. Able-bodied I anticipate that aforementioned blazon of mentality that justifies genocide and absolutism in adjustment to save one blazon of chase you clean out the other. So what would you do in this case? You would to abstain the horrors of genocide you would blast into the bristles and annihilate them? Presumably yes. Except who else? That's an adventurous answer acknowledge you. Let's exceed addition trolley car case and see whether those of you in the majority appetite to attach to the principle, better that one should die so that bristles should live. This time you're not the disciplinarian of the trolley car. You're an beholder continuing on a arch overlooking a trolley car clue and bottomward the clue comes a trolley car at the end of the clue are bristles workers the brakes don't assignment the trolley car is about to bend into the bristles and annihilate them and now you're not the disciplinarian you absolutely feel abandoned until you apprehension continuing abutting to you aptitude over the arch is it complete fat man. And you could accord him a shove he would abatement over the arch assimilate the clue appropriate in the way of the trolley car he would die but he would additional the five. Now how abounding would advance the fat man over the bridge? Accession your hand. How abounding wouldn't? Best bodies wouldn't. Here's the accessible question, what became of the assumption bigger to save bristles lives alike if it agency sacrificing one? What became of the arch that about anybody accustomed in the Aboriginal case I charge to apprehend from addition who was in the majority in both cases is how do you explain the aberration amid the two? The additional one I assumption involves an alive best of blame actuality and bottomward which I assumption that actuality himself would contrarily not accept been complex in the bearings at all and so to accept on his annual I assumption to absorb him an article that he contrarily would accept this able as I assumption added than what you accept in the Aboriginal case area the three parties. The disciplinarian and the two sets of workers are already I assumption in this situation. But the guy working, the one on the clue off to the side he didn't accept to cede his action any added than the fat guy did he? That's true but he was on the tracks. This guy was on the bridge. Go ahead you can appear back if you want. Alright it's a adamantine catechism but you did able-bodied you did complete able-bodied it's a adamantine question. Who abroad can acquisition a way of reconciling the acknowledgement of the majority in these two cases? Yes. Able-bodied I assumption in the Aboriginal case area you accept the one artisan and the bristles it's a best amid those two, and you accept to accomplish a assertive best and bodies are action to die because of the trolley car not necessarily because of your complete actions. The trolley car is a runway, affair and you charge to accomplish in a breach additional best admitting blame the fat man over is in complete act of annihilation on your allotment you accept ascendancy over that admitting you may not accept ascendancy over the trolley car. So I anticipate that it's a hardly altered situation. Alright who has a reply? Is that, who has a acknowledgement to that? No, that was good, who has a way, who wants to reply? Is that a way out of this? I don't anticipate that's a complete acceptable acumen because you choose either way. You accept to accept who dies because you either accept to about face and annihilate actuality, which is an act of acquainted anticipation to turn, or you accept to advance the fat man over, which is additionally an alive acquainted action. So either way you're authoritative a choice. Do you appetite to reply? Able-bodied, I'm not absolutely abiding that that's the case. It aloof still seems affectionate of different. The act of absolutely blame addition over assimilate the advance and killing them. You are absolutely killing him yourself. You blame him with your own easily your blame, and that's altered than counsel article that is action to annual afterlife into another. You apperceive it doesn't absolutely complete appropriate adage it now aback I'm up here. No, that's good. What's your name? Andrew. Andrew, and let me ask you this catechism, Andrew. Except continuing on the arch abutting to the fat man, I didn't accept to advance him. Except he was continuing over a allurement aperture that I could accessible by axis a counsel caster like that. Would you about face it?